Hey, guys. How y'all doing?
What's happening?
And we're back. It's Wednesday.
We're a little CP, but it's all good.
Yeah.
You gotta get a little CP sometimes, it's gotta have the people waiting a second,
We kept you waiting, that's all. All right, guys. So let me see if I get my bearings right. So to my left is Tyrone, aka Mr. Chocolate.
That's right.
All right. And by my side, but right below me, I got the doctor in the house, Dr. Royal Rain.
I said the doctor's in the house.
I can't do it the way you do it, Tyrone. I don't got that bass in my voice.
I said the doctor's in the house.
Yeah. So how's everyone's week been?
It's going by fast. Good.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that, but it's been, it's been going all right. It's going all right. Everybody's healthy. Nobody's getting choked. I'm not in jail. I'm free.
Said no one's getting choked.
Hey, man, it's all good, It's always a good thing. Oh, because I think about it. Oh, sometimes I think about it.
How many days you got left? Is it 15? How many days left?
Don't say that. I think I got 12. It's 12 now.
Okay.
Yeah, don't say, we don't add. We take away.
We said don't add.
Don't add. That's how we fight. Yes, sir.
What about you, Royal?
Like I said, this week has been going by fast. It's just like tomorrow's Friday Eve. Like nobody says Thursday anymore. What is that word?
Yes. But they do it at work too. They're like, "Happy Friday Eve." I'm like, "Please stop."
I've never heard that. Friday.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, as I get older, I realize that the days go by slow and the years go by fast. Does that make sense? It's just like, what in the what? But
yeah, we're halfway through this year.
Don't say that.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Halfway through. Hey,
it's gonna be time to file taxes again. It's like hot dang.
I'm gonna need you to log off. I don't want to hear that. So yeah. Well, so let's get into our topic. We got a good topic for you guys today. But before we talk about the topic, let's go ahead and look at our guest. Meet our guestesses.
We got guests.
Let's see. There they go. Oh.
We got men. The testosterone balance has shifted. Let's get it.
Y'all made Tyrone very excited because it's usually him against us, so to speak. So yeah,
the testosterone. Smell the testosterone, lady. Smell it.
A whole fool.
Well, welcome to the experience, guys. So two girls, you want to introduce yourself first? Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so two girls, live in North Carolina, Raleigh, career man, work, just got accepted into a new position, so I'll be starting that soon.
Congratulations.
All right.
I've been waiting on it for a long time. The name two girls, it's just a shout out to my kids. I got two girls, so it ain't nothing what people think it is, but it's literally what it is.
Man, he'll play it.
I didn't know what it was.
I know, right? Everybody always say that, but nah, it's a shout out to my kids. So that's why I go by two girls.
Shout out to two girls.
Appreciate it.
What up, ladies?
All right. And then, is he frozen?
No.
Is he concentrate? Oh, he's
concentrating. He frozen.
Yeah, he frozen. Oh man. He got that Obama phone. Another guess with Obama phones, man. What's going on, man?
All right. Well, I'm sure he'll be back. Yeah, so, our topic tonight is manhood and the power and struggles of manhood.
Yep.
Oh, is he back?
Just popped.
Oh, there you go.
Right there. Oh, blinking real slow.
Damn, Obama phones are a menace to the show, man.
You are so silly.
I thought they all broke by now. That's a good Obama phone. It's still working. Yeah,
the topic. Wait. All right. Oh no, we gonna fix it. Oh, we gonna fix it. Let me try one more time. Let's see. Nope, he's gone. All right. So the topic today is manhood. Our guest will be back on soon. Our topic today is manhood. And
There you go.
you back, Quentin? Yep. Oh, Quentin, are you back?
Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yes. Go ahead, introduce yourself, Quentin.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm Quentin. Just graduated high school yesterday from Nightdale.
Congratulations.
And I'm going to the Central fall.
All right. And
I'm Black Pearl's son. Yeah.
Should I act like a dude? That's my seed. Yeah. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Boy, that man an Obama phone after all this.
I did not.
That's crazy. I'm a little disappointed.
If he frees again, you're gonna see him right next to me. I'll just let you know.
I'm a little disappointed you got the man on.
So, all right. So our topic today is manhood, the power of being a man and the struggles of being a man. So, yes. So we have two girls and Quentin who probably have two different experiences with manhood. And we just thought we wanted to talk today about the things that men experience as they transition from being no pun intended, a boy to a man. Mm-hmm. And the things that they experience as the male species that we don't really understand ourselves as women, though we raise a lot of these men ourselves. So the ball is in your court, gentlemen, whoever would like to start. But my question to you is, and I guess each of you will answer differently, what do you feel was the hardest part of transitioning from, and I know, again, different stages, but the hardest part, or what is currently the hardest part for our younger male, of transitioning from, hey, you're just a boy, to it's time to be a man?
The transition from a boy to a man, I don't know, just kind of the shock of it. I remember back in the day when I transitioned from, sounds like I'm transgender, but but when I was, becoming a man, just the shock of it, like the responsibility, because I remember I was in high school and my dad was like, hey, about to graduate. And I was like, I'm chilling. He's like, yeah, once you graduate, you got a couple of choices. You can't be here no more unless you're paying, some of this mortgage. And he was old school. He wasn't like the parents now that's like, oh, live here forever until you. He was like, nah, you gotta go be a man. I raised you to be a man. Go be a man. And I was like, word. And so I went to the military. He was like, military, college, something productive. Let's go. What are you gonna do? And so that's what I ended up doing, man. And so yeah, that was the biggest shock to me. Like having to take care of myself, being responsible, all those things that you got to do when you're a man, in my opinion. And that's another thing that's subjective. Everybody's got a different idea of manhood, So I guess that would be a question for, like what you think is a man. But two girls, what you think? Like I would ask you, what do you think manhood is in general? Because when we talk about manhood, you gotta, what is it? How do we even identify it?
I think for me, manhood is kind of like it's a very slow process. It's kind of like aging out when you playing sports. It's like every day you gaining something, but you don't realize you attain it until you're like so deep into it. It's never like one day where it just clicks for you, right? It's like the more added responsibilities you learn, the more things that you stop doing, the more selfless acts you be doing. But by that time, you're already a man, right? By the time you get to 30 something, you like, oh shit, like I'm kind of on my shit right now. You know what I'm saying? I got my family, I got my kids, I got this. So you never really, in my mind, you never really took the time out to assess the situation. You just took the responsibility step by step by step. And then before you knew it, you just sit back and you realize and you kind of, look back at your life and realize like, damn, like I got here. I did this all right.
Yeah.
It's the hardest part. See, now See? Ta-da!
We got the
No more Obama phone.
the young man.
All right. So, what are the biggest challenges? And I'm gonna look this way. What are the biggest challenges for you? You just turned 18. So, for those of you, I know his name is not down here, but Quentin just turned 18 in February. So, what are the challenges you're finding now that you're 18?
So I would say like it's not necessarily the things that people tell you to do, but it's kind of like like an unspoken expectation kind of hits. And I think it was happening before I turned 18, where it's kind of just like, okay, you're older now, you kind of have to start maturing. And I guess it's like not necessarily just a man thing, but I guess it being a male definitely like emphasizes because a man is supposed to be a provider and a leader. Like my mom has been like repeating things like that, and I've been hearing that like so it's like added on top. So it's like, okay, you got to put a foot forward. You can't necessarily, like, not necessarily saying that women don't put a foot forward. It's just a different foot. And I feel like that foot has like a different pressure that's like right in your face. Like, I feel like the pressure of being a Black woman is like, in a sense, behind doors. Like, if you think about it differently, it's like a behind door strength where a man, you have to be like right there strong. I don't know. Cause like, it's like like when I think of like the traditional couple, I guess I'm not necessarily like a traditionalist, but when I think about what it is, I say like you have a strong man and a strong woman like beside him, but she's still like behind him, if that makes sense. I don't know, because a man is still a leader, like if, in that sense, like the traditional man woman, like, you know.
Okay. All right.
And two girls, I got a question for you because you didn't really get to speak on this. Like when I heard Tyrone speak to it, and Quentin just kind of spoke to it too. Like when you were you kind of indoctrinated with the old school thought that Tyrone was describing, being that you are a little older than Quentin. You know, as far as when you turn 18, this is what the expectation is. Like, what was your? I'm going to say transition, but what was it for you at that point in time?
So before I was even 18, but when I was 16, I got kicked out of my house as a teenager.
Okay.
So 18 was just like another day for me. It was just, you know what I'm saying? It was just going through the processes. But so yeah, so I got kicked out when I was 16. And I feel like it kind of like curbed my progression a lot because it forced me to be things that I wasn't prepared for, or maybe things that I wasn't, I definitely know I wasn't before. But it turned me like I had to be a wolf to survive because, you know, you can only sleep in friends' couches or bedrooms or whatever for so long, right? So, you know, sleeping outside, doing things like that, just trying to get through. So 18 for me was just, it was just 18, you know,
I
it was
got it.
just like my
Yeah.
consequences. You know,
Let's
like feel like the
talk
things
about
that I
the
did was gonna have like real repercussions after this moment. Like that's what I felt like. Like, damn, if I do something, I'm gonna have a real repercussion for this.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest, as a parent, as a mom, I think I've even told my son that, like, when he turned 18, I said now, and that's only because I also experienced that with my older son. Like, all right, now you're 18, they're not like, oh, let me go call your mom.
right.
When you're out there,
it's on you.
right? And I think, unfortunately, which I did share with him, because, you know, Quentin's like, you're just being so negative. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, it is a scary reality, right? Like your daughter turning 18 is not like your son turning 18 or
Yeah.
being a
Yeah.
man. It's
I
not.
think it's one of the differences.
Yeah. So being real, and again, we talk very openly. Once he was 18, the thought go to me now becomes no one's gonna call me and be like, hey, we found, you know, your son is out here, blah, blah, blah. Not to say they always would, but there's still that's someone's son, right? When he turned 18, he is another Black man who is a threat in the street. And so, unfortunately, I can admit this, and, you know, my son had to point that out to me. The fear that is a little conditioned into us as Black women, I projected Right. So now I'm like, you gotta be careful out there. Even like with his girlfriend, I'm like, she's not 18 yet, but you're 18 now. Remember that, blah, like things like that. So I think that's what started this conversation about manhood. I was like, you have to be strong, you're gonna have to man up. No, I said you're gonna have to man up. And he said to me, you know, I don't ever hear strong and black men together. He said, when we're talking about a black person being a man, it's you need to man up because life is hard. But when you talk about strength, they always show pictures of white men or other, right? Other races.
It's not even necessarily strength. It's like, and this is like more what my friend said when we were having that conversation. It's more like success. Like when you think of like the pinnacle of being a man, like the American dream, all that, anything that falls under that umbrella is the white man, like the middle class white man, the upper class white man. So it's like, why would I care to have that like label of, oh, I'm a strong black man when I haven't seen that shown to me? Like, okay, you're strong. The only time I see blackness, and this is not even me trying to make a joke, but it might be funny, is like Tyler Perry. That's the only time you see black, because that's mainstream, that's A-list celebrity, that's up there. You don't really see black. Black is just recent, for real. Like,
I mean, we failed if Tyler Perry is our strongest black man.
Well,
Look, and I was about to say Tyrone, and then I wanted two girls. Go ahead, Tyrone. Go ahead, baby. I'm sorry.
I was saying, like, when I talk to young men, like, being strong is cool, but the most successful man is the resilient man. You know, you need to learn to be resilient and learn how to use your resources around you, and you know, and teach. Everybody teaches one another. To me, I've kind of changed my thought on manhood in general, because I believe that it kind of goes hand in hand, men and women. I believe in being the best human being I can be. And when I'm the best human being I can be, I'm going to be the best man I can be. Like, so I believe a man, and this changed over the years, you know, as many things do. Like when we talk about providing, you know, I think we overlook exactly what that means. Providing, yeah, it means taking care of the family, money-wise, financially, but you got to provide that love to your family. You got to provide that emotional security. You got to make sure everybody, you know, your children see a good example of what you're supposed to be. That's the biggest part of providing. I think a lot of times we mix that up with the materialism and stuff. And that's being a good human being, being a good man. A man gives that to his offspring, you know, and he gives love to his wife. Everybody feels secure and safe around him, emotionally and physically. You know, a man is peaceful, but he's not harmless, right?
Yeah.
You know, so it's just those things are that is more layers to it than I think get spread around, like on the internet now. You hear about all this, you know, man versus woman talk stuff, and it's it's real.
Two girls. What did you want to add, love? Because this is y'all show. I'm here to learn. I'm listening to you. I ain't got nothing to say. I'm just asking questions.
No, like, I mean, I'm with Tyrone. Like, to piggyback on that, it's just like it's just a process. And unfortunately, you go to school and they don't ever teach you how to be one. They ain't gonna never read no book that's gonna give you no insight on it. You're gonna have to learn like how so many of us learn, right? We see people, we see things that we like of certain people have certain characteristics that we want to appropriate into ourselves. We take some bad ones and then we have to shell those off, you know. But yeah, like that's really like what Tyrone said. It's just it's going to be so many small things that you're going to never even notice. It's going to be so minute you're just never going to notice it. But your strength is always going to be within you, like your decisions, your posture, your presence, your calmness, your communication. Because just being black, being black and being a communicator is like the biggest thing you'll ever have as a black man. Because instantly you walk in, you're instantly stereotyped. Before your mouth even open, you're already being stereotyped. So you have to disarm them first with your words. Before anything else, your words have to disarm them.
How do you do that?
Being a communicator is like the biggest thing you can ever learn as being a black man, specifically. Like, learn how to disarm people and learn how to arm yourself also. So you have to, you know, come in with your own agenda. You know, I'm a firm believer that everybody have a motive. People think motives are bad, but you know, my motive can be to see you do great, you know. But have that motive before you go in, if that's what you're gonna need. Like when you become a man, you'll think about those things because you're gonna think about your kids, you're gonna think about your family, your responsibilities, your house, your car, gas, food, everything. And those are all your motives to get through the day.
Yeah,
So
you asked how you deal with it. I know for me, I believe like as a man, as a woman, as a
Well, I'm saying
again
as
good
far as like just
good
how to
human being.
unarm. I was talking about the
Yeah,
unarming.
part, yeah.
That comment, like that was a
It was
deep
a strong,
comment.
yeah, it was a
Like,
very strong comment.
right. I wanted to
The
just
way I
understand
do it,
how do you disarm an individual through communication, and I would also like to hear that from Quentin. But go ahead, Tyrone. I'm listening.
mhm.
no, I mean the way I do it, I'm myself.
Yeah.
I'm always my genuine self. I never let them see me sweat. Um, and one, I don't worry about disarming them. I worry about being if I worry about being professional, proficient, and I let it take care of itself. If you feel alarmed, if you feel nervous about that, I want you to. It's okay, because I'm gonna do my thing. I'm proficient. I'm good at what I do. Whenever I'm doing something, and those who see the value in that are going to value it, and those who don't see the value, they're going to miss out because I'm good.
Yeah.
You know, and I think having that confidence as a man, um, that's the biggest thing, being confident. You let them see you sweat, you let them see you looking nervous and uncomfortable, then they don't trust you, or they're gonna try to take advantage of you. I come in, I don't worry about disarming. If you wanna, yeah, if you armed, then we might have to battle, you know. But I don't much worry about that. I'm gonna be myself, and that's how I move. So I've always moved, and I've always, anytime I went somewhere, I've gotten respect. I've gotten respect from more people than I've not gotten respect from. And that's why I always encourage the young guys to do. Be yourself. Be your genuine self. Don't be switching and flipping. And you switch and flip too much, you're not gonna know who the hell you are in the end. And you flipping so much. You know, be your genuine self, young brothers. You know, and
So,
it works out.
so did you want to answer that?
No, I kind of got lost in talking. No, I was just like, okay.
So, did you guys grow up? And I know Quentin's answer, but I'm still gonna give you a chance to answer.
Yeah.
Did you grow up around your dads or other strong men that you wanted to emulate? Stop it.
Or
I'll
not.
let you go ahead. I'll let you go ahead, two girls.
Look,
let you answer that.
I was gonna say, or
Oh,
not.
definitely.
You might
I,
not.
I
And
Or
don't
grew
worry
not.
up,
about it.
yeah, like I grew up and it was certain guys that 100% I wanted to emulate. They had certain characteristics. You know, you see someone that's smooth, you see someone funny, you see someone that, you know, walk in the room and you know, when you see a man walk in and can control the room as a kid, you know, you look at those type of things. Those type of things catch your eye. You see cars, women, whatever. So absolutely, like, and just like with strength, um, me and my dad for a while we didn't get along for a very long time.
Mhm.
Um, but I could say he a strong man, so strong that he just became stoic. It's like he a statue at points. So when you try to have a conversation to him, you can't
It's flat.
because he's exactly he's so flat where it's just you can't ask a question because he just super stoic. Like that's just it. Um,
Do you think he
but
did that to defend himself as a man, like in a defense mechanism, and it just became a part of his nature? Or
nah, I just don't think he know how to like. That's just his personality.
okay,
Like that's just something that he's not equipped with.
Yeah.
yeah,
He's just not equipped with. Like he's just always going to be brash, always going to be one thing. You know,
yeah.
his thing when we were growing up was this house is an anarchy. You know what I'm saying? This ain't no diplomacy around here. Ain't no
Oh,
democracy. It's his way or that's it.
that is crazy. That's crazy.
So
Okay, well, Quentin.
No, I didn't really have many. Well, hold on. I want to say I had male figures or anything like that, but similar to two girls, I definitely did see like people that I had that had like qualities I wanted to emulate. Like even my friends had qualities, like the way that someone can just get someone's attention, or hell, even their smile. There was like certain things that you'd want to emulate about people. And then like I think for me personally, like the characteristics that I took on were from those friends and peers, but they were mainly from like people around me, and I'm mainly surrounded by women. And so I'm finding that, like, not that I'm saying I'm a feminine person in any way, but I'm finding that I do have a lot more feminine traits than like I'd realized. Because like for most of my life, well, literally up until maybe the past 3-4 months, I hadn't like attached feminine or masculine traits to like the things that I was doing. So it's like interesting to think about, because I hadn't really thought about like, okay, what have I been picking up from these men and what have I been picking up from these women? I've just been thinking about like, what have I been picking up in general? Because like I had never really assigned any of these things to anyone. I just knew that I picked it up from somewhere. But now I've been like sitting down and thinking like, okay, this is definitely something I picked up from him because of this. Kind of went on a tangent, but like it's an interesting thing to think about.
No, you making sense.
What you said made sense. Because I know for me, to answer the question, I grew up with my dad, and so he kind of, of course, he made me kind of the man that I am, because that's the man I was with, and I saw him work hard. I saw him be dedicated to the family. Like my dad was super dedicated. We never had any family scandals. I never seen my dad cheat on my mom. So I grew up. That's how men were. And then when I looked out in the world, it was kind of rare, because I remember growing up in my neighborhood. I was the only kid with a dad in like a 5-mile radius. So my friends would come over. I never understood. That's why people try to front it off and pretend there's a such thing as masculine energy and it's necessary. I remember my friends be over at my house all to get like 10 guys being in the house hanging out, and my dad would come home from work. Everybody would run away, and I was like, "What the hell?" Everybody would dip. They'll just be out. He'd come in. He'd be like, "Hey," he asked me like, "Hey, you do this?" And everybody look. They be, I was like, "Nah, it's cool." They be out, and I never understood it. But then later, I figured, I saw it. Being with kids, I see it. They didn't see masculine energy. They was like, "What the hell is this?" And it made them nervous. Like my friends would get nervous. My dad was nice. He was going to just say what's up, probably joke around, but they be out. And and I noticed that with kids I work with, there's a lot of feminine energy in young men, and sometimes it shows in ways that we don't realize it. A lot of this violent behavior that we see like in the street, it's feminine energy. It's the super extra emotional, because some people don't like to hear it. But yeah, men and women are different emotionally a lot of times. Women a lot of times are more. That's why more emotional. They're more vindictive sometimes. That's why a woman will be mad about the prom from 19 to this day and hate that bitch.
Really?
Well, dudes don't really beat. Guys will fight. You little boys will fight, and they'll be friends the next day. As I see at school, girls will fight and they hate each other from 3rd grade.
I agree.
So what's y'all thought on the concept of a woman can't raise a man? Because I know what my perspective is, but I would surely love to hear it from y'all.
Can a woman raise a man?
Can you
like teach a man how to be a man?
Oh, teach a man how to be a man.
Mm-hmm.
No, not really. She can read the manual and watch the YouTube video, but only a boy sees like I saw my dad be a man firsthand, and I felt the energy, and it was different than my mom telling me. Like my mom, she tells you stuff, but when you get older, you be like, yeah, all right.
Well,
but dad is like, it's different. Like it's a whole different energy. You learn how to be a man from a man. Like I couldn't teach my daughter how to be a woman like that. I can't imagine being by myself, and I could do an okay job. I couldn't do the job my wife does.
Can I add to that? Sorry. I think as women, and I know my sister's gonna say, I don't attach this to that. I think as women, we convince ourselves, well, we're the ones doing it, and so we can. But the disservice we do to men is actually we teach men how to be conflict avoidant, right? We teach men, or we put men in a situation where they're looking for a mother figure in their partner. And so they get into these situations where, we condition the man to be like, when I say something, a woman's always right. And but that type of those weird things. And they end up in relationships where the woman is dominant over them. And I think that is something that I had to see other parents doing to men, like, dang, that dude is with this woman who is like always arguing, super emotional, and she controls everything with her emotions, almost guilting that person. And then when I step back, and I meet their mom, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're dating an emotional version of their mother. And
I mean, not to cut you off, but
no, you're fine.
I think that something like whenever you raise like the opposite sex, like me raising a woman or a woman raising a man, I feel like when women raise men or raise boys, they're raising them to be the man that they desire,
correct,
not the man they should be.
Facts.
No different from a man to a woman, right? We're going to raise our daughters to be the woman that we would desire,
or who should have been in the household,
right? Or right, because I mean, even with that, like everybody can say, well, I want X, Y, and Z, but who you have is what you really want, because that's who you have, right?
Facts.
If you wanted something different, that's what you would have had.
Facts.
But yeah, so yeah.
You make an excellent point. I think an experience Quentin and I have is I used to tell them, I never used to say, you're a man, stop crying. I just think that's so toxic to say. But recently I have told him, you need to now apply logic to some of that emotion you have. Don't let the emotion drive that vehicle for you. Like, you feel this way. Now you need to understand why you feel this way. And I say that to say, which he agrees, you can't just start crying in the middle of the street when you're frustrated every time you're frustrated. That's us. Women, that's acceptable. Right. Oh, baby girl, you okay, girl?
That ain't me, but go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead.
And there's a context to that. There's a context to that a man can teach a young man in a non-toxic way. So I remember my dad would tell me when I was a younger kid, like, yo, hey, stop crying. Like he wouldn't, it wasn't to not have emotion, but it was like, you're gonna be a man one day, and somebody's gonna look to you to be a leader, and you can't break down every time something goes wrong, because it's a fact of nature. Nobody cares about a crying ass man. A woman can. A woman neither. So when a woman cries, it's different. You feel bad for the woman. Woman cries. People go console the woman. A man cries. It's not quite the same.
That's only like further like driven in by that type of mindset.
Like, what's that, Quentin? I'm sorry. What, baby? What you say?
Like,
he couldn't hear you.
When you continue to like push that allows that to slide. Like, I don't care if a girl is crying or a dude's crying. Well, I care like on a human level, like
on a human level.
But, like, you can't be just crying in the street regardless of who you are, because I feel like as human beings, you still have a responsibility. Move, like, let's get up and pick yourself up. But I do get what you're saying. But what I'm saying in response to that is that's like a patriarchal thing. Like, we literally live in a patriarchal world where we're told that men are beneath women, even though like we're trying to get that out the window now. It's still driven in a lot of different ways. But like, why do we respond to women differently and men differently? Why is it like, men, you have to be tough, you have to be this strong stoic thing, where I do feel like as a man, like if I don't know, like with the way it's told to me, like you would want to be stronger, but the way I think of it, I feel like I'm like agreeing with Tyrone, like just be the best like human, like be a strong human. You don't want to have like some stoicism as a human in general. Like you don't want everything to hit you. You want some things to bounce off. You want to be able to like take a step past things, take that step back, like take a breath and move on.
And a lot of stuff is just nature. Like, because you look at the most of the time when a baby's born, the baby's with the mom at first. The mom's nurturing, breastfeeding, taking care. I mean, it's just a natural thing. So the emotions are going to be different. It's a more nurturing, softer, vibe. And then when the boy grows up, you go hunting, just back in the day, hunting and taking care of things. You go with the man, and the man's going to teach you, hey, you have to be calm If you're hunting the animal, you can't be crying and when you get a little cut, we gotta eat. We gotta, it's just a natural thing. Naturally, men fought wars. So when you talk about men being tough, men are physically stronger. So you want to fight, you want to defend and fight. You can't be crying and being nervous. You got to be calm in battle. That's just a natural order of things. Now, women can fight wars, but I mean, a 5'1", 90-pound woman versus 6'5", 300 and some pound man, it ain't gonna end well. I mean, I don't care how much feminism you got going on. That's just nature, So they're natural roles, and that's why the emotions are the way they are, in my opinion. But I think that's kind of just a natural fact. But and so that's why men, teach boys the way they're supposed to teach them, in my opinion. Now, some people call it toxic. I don't know. I call some of it natural. Now, holding your emotions in to the point where you can't express them, where that's not good to hold them in. It's okay to let it out. I saw my dad cry all the time when something happened, but he didn't but he got up. Like his phrase for us was, he's an ancestor now, but his phrase always was, "Hey, get back on the horse. When you're upset, hey, let it out a little bit. Come on, let's go. Let's get back on the horse. Evaluate what you did wrong, what's going on, and let's adjust it. I've taken that in my life, and it's worked well for me.
Yeah, to piggyback off of Tyrone, like that's kind of like the nature versus nurture thing.
Yeah.
Like when you a little boy and you go with your dad, you got to be a different person than when you are whenever you with your mom. Because the worst thing for a little boy to do is be like, when he hear your dad say, "Go in the house with your mom," you let your whole day go down. You like, damn.
Mm-hmm.
And it came out here and just, I did too much. You know what I'm saying? So, and then even when you get a little older and you start going outside, like for me, like even if I was even hanging out with the big boys, I had to be a different person. Like I couldn't complain about certain things. I couldn't talk about certain things because they're just past that. So you had to put on that shell. You had to be tougher than what you was, or you had to at least emulate it, at least try to be something more than what you is. But you said it was more learning than anything else. Like you just watched them. You watch how they move. You watch how they conduct themselves. You watch how they spoke to people. Things of that nature.
I think one of my greatest regrets, again, shared with both my sons, my daughter too, actually, is that I was not able to find enough of a male circle for my men, for my boys, for my men, for my boys and my daughter. I think something that my older son says is he doesn't trust Black men, but he's a Black man, right? And that's because his experience, his experience is if they need something, they come and they disappear. Unfortunately, and I have no control over this, it was if they want to get to you, they come to us. And then when that doesn't work out, they don't get what they want, they're gone. And so I, in turn, for a while, being very honest, tried to be this, I'm going to show them, right? Hold it together. Like, I'm sure Quinta can't say he's ever seen me cry. Have you seen me cry before?
Once, I think.
And I was like, look, got bills to pay. Let's keep it going and move forward. But that's still not showing him how to be a man. And I had to accept that. I went through let's play basketball, let's play football. And they'd be looking at me like, what? What are you talking about right now?
It's
until I realized I'm just going to have to keep my fingers crossed and my hopes high that the journey after me, if you get what I mean, after me, 18, and that he meets strong men. He meets, like how he said, I want to emulate this person. I want to emulate that person. I want to emulate this person. But I say all that to say I'm learning so much from having two sons. I'm learning, like, regardless of what your label, a woman is a woman. She is never the best, strongest woman is never going to be a man, ever experience the things, nothing, and vice versa. So
yeah. We are who we are.
We are who we are. That's true. That's true.
Regardless of the hype, but we get into that another show.
So we just have a new guest. Can you hear us?
Oh, I hear the crackling of an Obama phone.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. So,
Who we got?
yeah, can you introduce yourself and then chime on in with your comment?
Yeah. I'm BA. I'm Tamara's cousin. So she invited me on to the program tonight just to speak a little bit on these things. Sorry for the lateness. I'm not too good at technology and all that. Plus, I got a lot going on over here. That's why I got my camera on here.
All good.
But yeah, y'all making some good points and everything, and I totally agree with the whole concept of a woman can't really fully raise a young man. There has to be, in my opinion, a healthy balance between the two parents. You know what I'm saying? But there comes a time, and I know in the Jewish tradition that I believe they consider their young boys to become men at the age of 13.
Oh no, B, your phone is breaking up.
Your audio is breaking up. It's like crackling.
Obama strikes again.
You're gonna stop calling out Obama. He was trying to help us stay connected.
Hey.
All right, BA, log off and try to come back on. We'll be happy to hear the rest of what you have to say.
I feel the knowledge was about to drop, but
I do too. That's I'm like log back
that
on.
snap, crackle, pop gotta go.
Tyrone.
So real quick, real quick before my cousin comes back in, I recently was speaking with an old friend, messing around, and he was sharing with me that when his daughter graduated, how he cried, and I was like, "Yo, bro, like for real?" I was like, "You need to man up, dog." And then but what happened is after I said it, it triggered me.
Yeah.
Because I thought about you guys this evening and our topic, and I was like, damn, that was kind of effed up. And so, no, seriously, I did. I caught myself and I tried to clean up what I messed up, as old folks say. And so I turned around and I was like, look, I said, next time you got to just say it with your chest. Just say it with your chest. To try to clean up the fact of me telling him to man up. And my question to you guys is, and that's me being reflective. I tell people oftentimes I don't even need nobody to check me. I can check myself. I know when I've said something.
And she does, by the way.
Yeah, that just ain't right. So my question to you all, gentlemen, is what is your response when somebody tells you to man up? Like, how do y'all feel as a man? What do y'all do with it? Like,
it depends. It depends on the situation.
Okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
It might be a situation where I go, yeah, all right. You know what I'm saying? Because I might need to, you know, and I think that's okay. I think that's okay. See, I'm not really a
hypersensitive.
Hypersensitive person. Okay. I'm a combat vet. I've seen when men need to be men and have to man up and get over things. That's a thing. I'm sorry. I know that everybody's sensitive now and you got to take a break every 5 minutes, but there does come a point where you got to buckle down, and you call it man up, woman up. Sometimes you got to get through it, and sometimes you can't and you need help, and I get that because I do know people struggle with things like mental health, and that's a real thing. You know, hey, I've sat in front of the people myself a few times and talked about it, but there are points in life where you gotta get up, and I feel like there's the balance is kind of it gets off sometimes. Sometimes it's too much manning up, and sometimes I think it's not enough manning up. We gotta find a happy balance somewhere, because you know I think we gotta. I don't know, but maybe that's just me and my perspective. But what y'all think? I'll let y'all hit it.
Like, I mean, I could say for me, like, I don't know. I don't think nobody ever told me to man up. Like,
Okay.
not. I mean, I might have had a woman say that out of anger because she, whatever.
Right.
But
just
not,
joking around, not like that. Okay.
or
Yeah,
like just being
that's just
angry.
because you're a
Like,
man.
men. You get in
Yes, sir.
some women. They're going to argue. They're going to try to demasculate you.
Right.
So that's
Agree.
what I mean by that.
Okay.
So, but not like, and I made a lot of mistakes in my life too. But all my mistakes were through my tries. Like sometimes I just made bad decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
But like now, I don't think. But again, I've been by myself. I ain't gonna say I've been by myself, but I've been taking care of myself fully since I've been 16 years old. So um, that's where a lot of mistakes come from because I didn't have. It's tough when you're 17 and you talking to a 17, 16, 18-year-old
Yeah.
about what you should do next, and
Mhm.
they don't know neither, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I see
it's
that a
like
lot.
you go through all these things, and then this is where it's always good to have a mentor, even if that person don't even know they're a mentor. And that could be anybody, right? It could be a scholar to a wino to a drug addict, because everybody has experience and everybody got teachings in them.
Mhm.
So for me, I used to constantly monitor other people. Like I used to try to learn off of other people's mistakes before I got to them.
Mm,
But
There you go. There you
yeah.
go.
But yeah, like I can't really say nobody ever really. But even if someone was to tell me that, I wouldn't take it personal. I wouldn't take it as a shot. I don't look at that as being
And he didn't take it
because
personal. It just made I just heard myself, and I was like, God, I ain't even
I
say it
told
like
yeah,
that.
but
I think
honestly,
most
some
times
men need to hear
that
that
doesn't
though.
bother men
Some
like
men
that.
need to hear that. Like some men
Yeah.
need a kick in the ass. Like it's okay to cry. It's okay to be emotional. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
But
Yeah.
sometimes that ain't every time. Like some men really need to hear that. Some men need to hear that reassurance. They need that guidance. They need that push. Um, you know, Being a man, Quentin, what you're gonna learn is, you're gonna take a lot of steps by yourself to benefit everyone behind you. So sometimes you're gonna have to take those steps and, be the front. Be the front, really. But nah, I think some men need to hear that. I think more men need to hear. I think that needs to come back out. I think the
Yeah.
whole thing, be emotional, express yourself. I think that's kind of watering down the whole manhood thing. It's like, I mean, I'm not trying to, because I cry. I can admit I cry as a grown man, but that ain't, I cry from the pain or hurt for not being able to provide for someone. Like my daughter, grandfather died this year,
Mhm.
and she lived with him. So I cried because I wasn't there for her. I should have been there for her at that moment when she was going through something. So that hurt me.
Yeah.
So,
So
have anyone ever told you to man up?
I don't think like those words directly have ever been like said to me, but like I think man up is like it's okay. It has like a very negative connotation behind it. Like hearing it is kind of like it's like whatever, but like I think the meaning behind it actually is kind of good. Like you kind of do need to kind of just like buckle up a little bit, like buck down.
Yeah.
Cause like in general, like a lot of the times, because I wouldn't necessarily say that like the whole express yourself is watering down being a man. I think it's just redefining it, and maybe man up also is being redefined with that, where it's like maybe being a man isn't just the same thing anymore. Not that it's the same thing for everyone, but like the general idea.
Mhm.
Like maybe it's just not the same thing that it was 20, 30 years ago. Maybe it's just changing. And whether that's the internet or Gen Z being Zoomers and changing stuff, it's changing, and no one can deny that. So I think maybe it's just a redefinition of being a man sometimes.
Well, if you ask 100 men what it is to be a man, you'll probably get 100 different answers.
Right.
And you might get some similar answers, but everybody's gonna have some different thoughts there. But some things are what they are, and I believe we can redefine things, but sometimes they still are what they are. You can call a cat, an elephant, and say, hey, let's call it elephant, but still a cat. It's still a cat. It's not an elephant. Even though
So, do you feel that
That's not
women
redefining, that's changing.
demasculate? Do you feel that women are now demasculating men, and that's why there's kind of a blurred line with manhood? That's
I
a
do.
question for anybody.
Yeah,
I
I
think
BA,
do.
women.
you
I
can
think
come off mute
women.
if you
I
like.
think women
Get it on.
demasculate weak men. I can't be demasculated. You're not demasculating me because I'm secure in mine. I'm just gonna laugh at you.
You laugh at everything. I'm not
But
messing with you.
but some men, you say something, they're gonna get all pissed off. If you tell me that I'm not a good man, I'm a weak man, I'm gonna look at you and go like, oh, you clearly have no clue. And I'm gonna move on. It doesn't bother me, because I know who I am as a man. If you don't know who you are as a man, it probably gonna get to you.
What do you think, two girls?
I definitely think it waters down, man. Like I'm with Tyron. Like I'm a very confident man, for myself. Um, but I definitely think that women, because in my mind they're trying to balance the scales, right? They're trying to level the playing field, and the best way you're gonna level the playing field is you take out for a woman or women. They're gonna take out as much men as possible, because more men not fighting puts more women in advantageous positions, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, like that's how I see it. But like Tyrone say, like if you confident and you strong, like the strong man, you are who you are, right? So if you're the strong man, it doesn't matter what no one said to you. Like, but if you weak or you insecure or things of that nature, then yeah, those words gonna always affect you. But honestly, for me, at my standpoint, if you weak, then I don't want you on my team anyway. So it's kind of good that you did fall off now. You know what I'm saying? So I'd
BA,
rather
what you
for it
got
to
to
be a
say? I'm
point where I
sorry.
need you when you weak, and I'd rather for you to go ahead and fall off now if it was
Now,
me.
now, I'm not saying a man can't get his feelings hurt. Now I can get my feelings hurt. Now I'm not saying Teflon, but as far as feeling like I'm a man, I know I'm a man and I know who I am. But yeah, you can say something, I can hear things and be like, "What?" But I bounce back pretty fast from that stuff, faster than some people maybe. But again, my background's different. I'm an old combat vet. I've heard a lot. I've heard people got a lot of butt chewings. Yeah, I've heard people say things to me that and it bounces off of me. Some people say the military, took my feelings years ago. That's a joke, but I have them. But it's a little bit different. So
BA, do you have something to say? Is your mic working now?
I believe it is. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Go ahead, BA.
Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna go straight in because that's how I do. But I'm from the old school, and it's like this: if somebody, and particularly another male, has to tell another male to man up more than once, there's a problem there. There's a problem. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to get it together. I'm not gonna cast no stones in regards to, these new generations out here, Z or X or whatever it is nowadays. But quite frankly, I just don't get it. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing grown men thinking it's okay to wear feminine clothing and all this other kind of things. I saw a post just the other day about seeing some brother wearing a kilt. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that has nothing to do with our culture, first of all, and second of all, why are they approving of this type of thing? I'm just not getting it. I saw the comments in there. They was like, "Oh, that looks fly. That looks fresh." Okay, there's no way in this earth, like at least from the way I'm cut, I would wear anything remotely close to what a female has on. Nothing. Not a pair of shoes. Not jewelry. Not nothing. And I don't understand where some of these guys get the notion that this is okay. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to seem like I'm that guy, get off my grass and the old guy who's lost his mind or whatever. But I just don't understand where we took a turn for the left in regard to this. Like I was raised by old school men for real, who would just assume, knock you down as quick as they look at you or you do something wrong. Nowadays, it's too much watering down of the whole gender thing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's getting twisted and intertwined and, all this do you and be yourself and all this kind of stuff. And I was in the military too, just like, the brother up there, he was saying he was a combat veteran. I can respect that. I was in the Marine Corps and, we was just flat out just trained to kill people. I mean, that's what it is, and I'm not trying to use that as some kind of macho type of thing and anything like that, because that's really not what manhood is about. It has nothing to do with your, beating your chest and smoking cigars and drinking whiskey and all that type of thing. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know how much time we got left, but I'm just, like I said originally, if somebody got to tell you to man up more than one time, there's a problem there. You need some structure in your life. You need some guidance, a mentor, somebody, a cousin, an uncle, somebody to come into your life and guide you properly on how to be a man, because there's certain things a man just not gonna do. And I'm sure the brothers on here are familiar with like the man code type of thing. That's what they call it, what he used to call it. There's certain things that a man just not flat out is going to do. He's just not going to do it. A grown man is not going to be putting on, like I said, female clothes and shoes and stuff like that. I don't care if it's Halloween or you're joking. You just don't do it flat out. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with the brother, whoever it was that said there
Tyrone.
has got to be some kind of balance in there, as well. You know what I'm saying? Don't think it's all about being a tough guy, because believe me, there's always going to be somebody who's tougher than you are, or so you like to think. And then that's when egos clash and there's a problem. And you got to learn to brush that stuff off. And in doing so, that is part of one of the things that will actually make you a man, or makes you a man. You know what I'm saying? Know when to walk away from stuff and foolishness, and be
Right.
respectful to women, and you know what I'm saying, and be genuine about it. Don't be doing it. And I think there's more toward the young man up there with the glass. I can't read his name. With the
Quentin.
glasses.
Okay.
His name is
Yes,
Quentin.
just don't do these things. This is the important part. Don't do these things just because they need to be part of your second nature. You know what I'm saying? Don't never let nobody take that away from you. They got to be part of your second nature. Or the opening the doors and yes, ma'am, and being kind to women. Show appreciation for them and stuff like that. You got to handle women different. You learn that as you go along. But that's part of being a man. You know what I'm saying? And people will notice that it's all a part of your character, and that's very, very important. Your character is what's going to carry you further than anything as a man in this world. And so, yeah, I don't want to take up all the time, but that's what I
Nah,
got on it.
So
that's good.
it was very good. I have a question. So do you think, because you said BA, and this question is for anyone, but you said BA that you don't understand the thing, the clothing, the things like that. Do you think because there is a decrease of examples that males are trying to cling on to anything that they see strong? Like usually you emulate what you see, right? You go, oh, I want to be like this, I want to be like that. But what we're starting to see, or what people are possibly starting to see more, are violent men in jail, things like that. So it's like, well, what am I seeing that's strong? So I'm just asking.
Is that new? I feel like if anything, that's always been a thing. Violent men in jail, if anything.
Yeah, but there was a balance, right?
When was there ever a balance? Then
there was more
raping and
balance.
It's always been violent men, I think.
that's what I'm saying. Like that's
So I'm asking, that's fine. I'm asking, do you think it's a lack of example that's causing a loss? Yes, we talk like this all the time. Lack of example that causes a shaky foundation in what we know as manhood versus what Quentin may know as manhood.
Yeah, I definitely do think it is, because I've seen some of these entertainers getting on the movies and stuff like that, and putting on dresses and stuff and whatnot like that. And I had a conversation with somebody one time. I believe it was somebody like I want to say Kevin Hart or some, I forgot who was it. With some of these guys, or Martin Lawrence, they just put on a wig and some makeup just for a few dollars. You know what I'm saying? But I've never seen Denzel do that. You know what I'm saying? And so you gotta piece this together in your head. It's like, okay, Denzel once said he ain't getting out the bed unless it's $20 million involved in the job. You know what I'm saying? So, but the point is, he's got enough character and respect for himself not to go out like that, regardless of how much they're going to pay him. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, to answer your question, I think it does have a lot to do with who they emulate. Sports figures and stuff like that. Sometimes I'll be seeing random posters wearing these, like I said, these
Got handsome.
feminine outfits, and I just don't understand what they're thinking at
I,
all. I mean,
Men who want
Well,
this country to be
I
heard.
understand everything that you're saying. I think a good I wanted to just share this comment again. Um I agree with you that there should be a foundation to manhood, but manhood to me, I'm a woman, I know, is more than what you wear. I understand what you're saying also, be it, but it's more than what you wear. It's how you carry yourself. And I think an important word that we use today is your character. I think it is about your character as well. So
There's one thing that the responsible is talking about with the clothes. I don't worry as much about the clothes as the bad example, but if you really think about it, we're multiple generations in of terrible examples of men, as far as when the drug dealer became popular, when the pimp became popular, when when our sense of community got destroyed and it became individual materialistic stuff. Now we all the kids hear about is how I'm a gangster, I'm a killer, and now they're hearing about I pop pills. That's the real bad example. We're multiple generations in. When I was a kid, it was money over bitches. It was, and everybody was saying that. It was getting high, it was smoking, and that's I was a kid, and I'm old now, so we got multiple generations. Superfly, the Mac, when the black exploitation came, and everybody was pimping hoes and selling drugs, and it became cool. It wasn't black power. It wasn't what was going on before then. Our community was destroyed by the messages from back then.
yeah,
So
but
we're multiple generations in of bad examples.
let's be honest.
We already
The
are.
new generation is not raising themselves. Who raised them?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So we're multiple generations of shitty raising. It's a wonder we're not worse than we are. We're like 3 or 4 generations in of terrible parenting. Like, honestly, if we're being honest with ourselves, like
Yeah.
like the gangster became cool, the criminal became cool.
Yeah, but then also some people see manhood as having multiple women. Does that make you a man if you sleep with multiple women?
No, it makes you.
That's
No, so listen.
Yeah,
So
but
another thing I forgot to reiterate my belief of manhood. Men have discipline. A man is
Ooh, good
disciplined.
word.
Okay, so the idea that a man is supposed to screw a bunch of women and it's cool, that's an undisciplined man. I don't honestly I don't trust a man who can't be faithful to his wife. You're not gonna be faithful to me as a business partner. I don't trust men who lie to women, to people that they love. I can't trust that. That's not cool to me. A man has to have discipline. And this whole talk about women and men and the roles they're supposed to play, the red pill shit, like where a woman's supposed to get a man with a bunch of money, you know, and he's supposed to be able to cheat. That's a man can be faithful. A man can have discipline. The same way you make all that money, your ass can be disciplined and love your woman. That's just the reality of things for me. But some people feel like it's different. But that's my problem. That those examples was really hurting manhood and the image of men and black men and all of that. When we embraced that, we were screwed. It's a wonder we're not worse.
What's your
I
thoughts,
don't
But you
BA
know.
and
got,
Two
but you
Girl?
got,
I mean, I understand exactly what Tyrone said,
Mhm.
and BA, I go along with a lot of those things, but I still feel like it's a matter of perspective because
Killing
you
my
can go to the times of the 70s, black exploitation and things of that nature, and I watch those movies even to this day. But still, we as a people, you have to understand the difference between entertainment and reality, and that's where the separation lies. Is like, are you following entertainment or are you following your reality? Because another thing that's destroying the black community to me is they take if you're a blue collar worker in today's world, they look at you as like you a peasant.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't be a mechanic and say, "Oh man, he's a good guy." You can't be a postman and say, "Oh, hey, that guy got a good job." No more. Now, the world wants you to see you make $1 million in a day and you never leave your house.
That's not
So
reality.
working with your hands is beneath everyone on planet Earth.
Absolutely.
I think the
But
problem is we keep searching for a man with money and realizing that doesn't give you a partner. You just get a man with money. Just like you could buy a house, it doesn't mean it's a home. You know what I mean? And I think that we put manhood and men in a box. That's what I want a man to be like this, and for me. I want him to buy me stuff. I want him to tell me I'm beautiful. I want him to cry when we get married. Okay, well, why you put him in a box? That doesn't mean that you're getting what you need from him as a man, right? This is not like how two girls said earlier. You can't condition this man to be what you want him to be because that's what you want. It's like a balance. A man is supposed to balance you out. So he can't turn and be this emotional person. We're going to cry at Hallmark movies together. It just doesn't work like that. Yeah. And I think the thing that really gets to me as a woman, and I'm looking back, right, at women, is we try to make a man a carbon copy of us. Right? We're mad if he puts us in our place. We're mad if he does the man thing. But then when he does the very unmanly things, then we go, oh, he's not this, he's not. There's things that come with manhood that are not always going to be pleasing to us as women, not disrespectful, but not pleasing to us as women, that we need to understand is put in place to balance us out.
But I think that goes back to what Tyrone said earlier, like lack of men in the home, because now people don't have an understanding of what a man will do or what he will say, how he operates, how he go about day-to-day type stuff. Like when I was a kid, no man went to no baby shower. That wasn't even an option.
Same
baby shower. I'm going to work.
All them good meatballs.
I got bills I got to do with this child. That child equals bills, more stuff I have to do. Yeah. There's nothing wrong. I'm not trying to say there's nothing wrong with going to baby shower, but it just goes to show you the growth of men and people in the community, where now it's like, oh yeah, like let's be all inclusive into everything.
Well, I think baby showers became more popular when weddings became less popular.
The meatballs got better.
No, silly.
I go for the meatballs, boy. I'm going to a baby shower. You gotta have meatballs.
Babies. More people were having babies than people were getting married.
But Brother Johnson Bay just summed it up. Throw that comment back up in there.
It's three parts. It's 3 parts.
The main part where he was talking about the man and the woman are not good for each other. The husband and the wife are. And he ended it with saying that that's a lesson, you know, that some people might not get, but when you put it in proper context, it makes perfect sense. Because it kind of goes into what you just spoke to, Pearl. Like it's kind of piggybacking into or off of what you just mentioned.
Yeah, well, I'm in some of my mindset, I'm a little, and I'm be honest, a little old school. It could be from my foundation, and I'm okay with it. I own it. I feel that it takes a man and a woman to have a child for a reason. Period. If not, we could be seahorse. We could be a chicken. We wouldn't need anything. There's a reason. I'm just saying. There's a reason, because it's not just, okay, I'm going to give you some sperm to this egg and we're moving forward. It's because the same two things that came together to make it is the same two things that need to constantly be present to make a balance. It is balance. It is the right hand with the left hand. It's one foot in front of the other. Again, I know everyone does not share my thoughts, but it is a math that's mathing for me, because even when you have those who don't believe in a man and a woman being married, they still emulate it for it to happen. So there's a reason. Like even when you see a same-sex couple and that's your choice, somebody is the more masculine person than the other. There is a core need for balance.
Somebody got that Boosie fade. Somebody got a turn.
It's necessary. Now, is it easy in the world that we're in right now? No. Is it necessary? Yes, it is. Manhood is necessary. It needs manhood being strong, being a foundation is necessary. We need to find it. We need to find that, because we're not balanced right now.
We're not balanced.
We're not balanced.
Two girls.
Well, okay, so the question though, like what tilted the scales though? Like that, like, so you can't, you have to look at the problem to get the solution.
Absolutely.
What tilted the scales of the balance?
Yes.
Politics.
I think it goes further than that. If you think about slavery, the whole mental process of slavery was to beat down the man so that he looked weak in front of the woman, who then became scared
Mhm.
and then raised her son to be scared and not to stand up against it. I mean, we could go all the way back if that's what you
Yeah,
want.
but I mean, but then you can look at after slavery, it was more black marriages than ever before.
But
Yeah.
we just got a different kind of slavery. We didn't get the actual whips. We got the subliminal messages, the jail, the all that stuff. Those are subliminal messages. It is still a mental slavery that's happening to us. A man being demasculated in front of us is the same thing as men getting whipped in slavery. I'm just being real.
Well,
No, I'm with you on
we
that.
had way more marriages, but then the government came in. They paid the man to leave the household. You
Yeah,
know, they
if
paid the
a
man to be
woman
the.
makes more money without a man, and I'm doing this, makes more money without a man in the house than she does. Well, at least that's the illusion.
And the white man weaponized the black woman by saying, okay, well, you can put him on child support, you can get this amount of money, you can get this house if he, as long as he's not
Exactly.
inside. But don't get me wrong, because I'm the first person to say, if two people are together, ain't no reason you should be looking for anybody to take care of you
But the
anyway.
thing is, a man giving you a monthly check through the government will never, and I'm going to say it again, never replace a active father in their life. It helps, but
And
it
that's
doesn't
the whole
replace it.
point.
And that's the point.
Yeah, but I mean that's the difference between value and worth, though. Like, so now you're getting to the point where the woman values the check over the worth of a family.
Facts.
And hence, I need a 6-figure man and can't date a bus
Right,
driver. And
right,
that's how we get to where
right.
we're at.
And
Yeah,
that's
like
why
shit,
many
rather have a
people
six
have
figure
a
man that treat
man.
her like crap than have a
Yeah,
good man that's a
exactly.
bus
And I'm
driver.
saying that's
And
why
that's
many
value
people
and worth.
have a man or they have a sponsor, but they don't have a partner. That's what that is. And they got the money and still doing it alone. Because manhood would go, this is more than a couple of dollars in your hand. I'm gonna stand up. I'm gonna be that father for my child. I'm gonna do what needs to be done. I know you can do it, but you don't have to do it.
That's right.
So that's that.
What you got to say, BA, before we wrap up, love bug?
Yeah, I think that art imitates life and life imitates art. And
Mhm.
in regards to you was talking earlier about how do we think caused all this?
Yes.
And my opinion, I think a lot of it has to do with like the entertainment industry. A lot of these performers just make it seem like everything is okay, to do these things. So now, when I was a kid in middle school or whatever, fourth, fifth grade, there was no such thing as no boy wearing no dress to school. It didn't even even if he had the thought in his head, it was no such thing. But now it's like people, parents are saying this is okay, this is who he really is, and he needs to be himself, and y'all just need to accept it. We didn't have those conversations back then. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just trying to get a feel for as to how it just took a turn, you know, a big left turn like that in society nowadays. You got more people who are pretty much saying that, let people be and do whatever they want to do. And to an extent, that's fine, but look at where it's gotten us. You know what I'm saying? I mean, walk into a bathroom nowadays and you see somebody in a dress standing in the urinal, and you don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, at some point we have to, draw some kind of lines as to what's going on, so conversations like this can be more clear, and in terms of how you're going to raise your children.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, it's already happened as we speak. You know what I'm saying? But it's a lot of explaining that you got to do to these kids. Explaining why how come Johnny has two moms and how come Bobby has two dads, and you got to have all those different kind of conversations on top of all the other um,
Conversation.
identities or whatever you want to
Conversation.
refer. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, with your
Conversation.
children,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it just, I just like it. I like it the old school way. Y'all were talking about earlier the black exploitation films and whatnot with the pimps and the
Mhm.
Mac and Pam Grier and all that type of thing.
Mhm.
But as far as I can recall, that was just entertainment. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, we seen pimps and stuff in the street and what have you, but that wasn't anything you really aspired to become. And although they were flashy and all this other kind of thing, but it never appealed to me personally. But then again, my father was my guide, you know what I'm saying? I had a grandfather
There you go.
and uncles, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't really have no need to pay attention to them kind of guys.
Yeah. You had a
You know?
foundation, and I think that's missing a lot.
But those kids without those fathers, oh, they want to be the pimp and they want to be the drug dealer. And fast forward, I'm talking to all kinds of kids who want to be scammers and hot girl summers and all kinds of things. They want to be that. It's what they want to be. They don't want to be engineers and they want to be what they see on entertainment. I
It
see it
really
every
is
day.
a foundation thing, though.
What you feed your mind every day. My dad told me years ago, like what you feed your mind, it matters. It's what grows out of your mind, what you keep feeding it. And if they getting fed that and they're not getting fed the opposite, that's how we get where we get. Everybody wants to be some street person, and it's tough. It's tough to talk to those kids and guide them because they see people making money on the street, you know.
And I go along with that, BA and Tyrone. Like I'm with you. It's definitely way more sheep than shepherd. You know what I'm saying? So that's always gonna be the defining moment. Like people gonna always look for someone. We all been sheep and we all have been shepherd in our own lives. But a lot of that comes with growth also. Like you can't expect an 18-year-old kid to be a 40-year-old man. Those are two different people, completely two different people from beginning to end. So I also think as adults, we have to give the 18-year-old an opportunity to become a man. Like it takes time. Like you know, Tyrone had his own journey. I have mine. BA had his, but we all took that time to become that. I think now too much is expected from someone so young. You know, like we're expecting them to be equal to us at 18. Literally, they was 17, reminding them to take out the trash and wash the dishes. They have a birthday now. You expect them to be your peer.
Yes.
And they 20 years away from being your peer.
Me and myself, I'm just trying to keep them from having to get felonies at 18 so they can make it to 40 and so they can be somebody. Because life is a matter of moments. I tell kids, one moment can change your life forever.
Absolutely.
And you won't be able to be what I am because you're going to have a felony. Yeah. And so, I mean, the stakes are high. The stakes are high with these kids, man. We got to, and that's why I say men reach out and guide. We don't just watch and talk. I talk to kids. I talk to them. I see a kid messing up, I talk to them. And if take it or not, but you're going to hear it from me. Let it marinate and get back to it later. But I think that's important.
So as a takeaway point, as we wind down, because we did go over, but it was good go over, so it's all good.
We did go over.
That's why. Yeah, that's why we did experience.
Quentin slid out, right? You see,
no, it's all good. It's all good.
Asleep.
But as a takeaway point, I'm going to follow up with Two Girls' comment, which is what I'm hearing from him is for us as parents, male, female, or whatever, for us to just show our young men grace and to teach our young men to have grace for themselves, with themselves, as they go through this journey of self-discovery. So that's my takeaway. So thank you, Two Girls. I appreciate you, love.
Nice.
Do you have any takeaway, Two Girls, that you want to share?
Yeah. So my takeaway is that I respect, like, y'all asked a lot of great questions. Dr. Royal Rain and Black Pearl, Tyrone, I definitely agree with a lot of his views. A lot of his comments made a lot of sense to me. Even BA, I understand coming from an older generation. But to me, I think that all the men kind of circled around on the same thing. We just come from different perspectives because we come from different locations, different generations, different things. But we all kind of, you know, at the simple level, we was all together to me. So, I mean, you looking at three different men, but you still looking at three men that was once boys that went through the same journey, the same process, the same steps, just in different locations with different names on them. And I want to say also, I appreciate y'all inviting me up here. Black Pearl, Dr. Rain, Tyrone, BA. I don't know if you're a regular or not, but I appreciate it. It was cool.
This is my first time up here, so
Oh, well, you get another salute for that.
it's good. It's good meeting all y'all as well.
Thank you for joining us. Tyrone, you want to add anything to that?
Man, just good conversation. So reach out, help a young man if you see one. All my men out there, because man, we losing a lot of these young boys, man.
Yes,
They not making it to be what we
Fast.
at. So you know that's my thing. That's what I do. So I always encourage other men. Hey, let's not talk about them. Let's go help them.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Well, we want to thank everyone who joined us tonight. This was an excellent conversation. I learned a lot. I shared a lot. I know Quentin left with a lot. Like as he slid away, like I said, he slid away right at that 1 minute mark. I was like, I'm out. Or 1 hour, sorry. He took away from a lot from this also. So I want to thank each of you for being a part of the experience today, creating a little village, right? And I feel like this hour and some change was just a little village of things that we don't have the opportunity to share and hear from you all as men. So again, thank you for being here. Thank you for all of you out there that joined the experience. And as always, thank you for joining the experience where the experience is always good. Have a good night, guys. Peace.
Good
All right.
night.
All right, take care.
All right, love.